Paranatural Podcast. My name is Ben.
And I'm Sean Connery.
You've already done that one. He's Jake. And we
are
so glad to have you with us tonight as we talk about the silent, stalking silhouettes collectively known as shadow people. Jacob, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Oh. How are you?
I'm pretty good, bud. I'm pretty good.
Oh, good. I was worried about that. So, I told Derek I gotta ask this, and it's our show, so
oh
who
boy,
gives a fuck?
This can't be good.
It's about shadow people.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, like, ghostly figures. You see them, they're white. What if shadow people are just a different ethnicity? What if they're black people ghosts?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
That's what I have to say to you, Derek. Why you gotta be like that for?
I'm just saying. Cut it out, Ben. You're making me feel self-conscious.
You should. Just for entertaining that notion.
How do you explain them? They're basically ghosts, aren't they?
Well, maybe. Maybe not.
Well, let's dive in and find out.
Well, all right, but before we do, there's two things that I need to take care of. The first one is, if you are listening to this on the day that it drops, do me a favor, get in the Facebook group and wish my co-host a very happy birthday. It will be his birthday on the day this comes out, so I'm going to say it right now. Happy birthday, buddy!
Thanks.
Now, since I've embarrassed him enough with that, the second thing that I have to take care of is that we are planning something kind of fun for our Halloween episode, which will drop on Halloween. And what we're planning to do is talk about urban legends, mostly just tell our favorite urban legends. So I would like to invite all of you listening, if you have a favorite urban legend or want to suggest one for us to read on our Halloween episode, let us know. You can contact us through our website, paranaturalpodcast.com. There's a contact section. It'll fill it out. Send us an email. You can email us directly at our email address, paranaturalpodcast@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us via any of the socials. We are on all of them, even if we don't always post a lot in them. So if you want to submit a suggestion for a nice spooky urban legend for our Halloween episode, get those to us by the 27th. That should give us plenty of time to collect them all and see what we're going to use. And if we use it, we'll give you a shout out. So, that's how things work here. Anything to add to that, Jacob?
Yeah, Facebook, email, our website. Let's get with the ideas. I keep getting over the phone or in person suggestions, and they keep getting shout outs. Everyone's on Facebook. What's your guys' excuse?
All right, then. That's a fair question.
Yes.
Everybody's on Facebook. Look us up. Get in the group. It's a private group, so if you post weird shit and you don't want your family to know about it, they won't know.
They won't.
Unless they're in the group. So.
Our weird asses will know.
And we'll love you for it.
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
Tender love.
Anyway, Jacob.
It's my birthday. I can say all this shit.
Can you? You do anyway.
Yes, I do.
It's our show. We say what we want. All right, bud. You ready to talk about some shadow peoples? No? Yes?
Ethnicified ghosts.
Wish you weren't so fucking awkward, bud.
That's what makes me so lovable.
Allegedly.
Anyway.
All right, you better get to this episode before I reach through this microphone and pull your whiskers out.
Ooh, you'd be pulling for a long time. There's a lot of whiskers.
Long and hard.
A lot of whiskers on this visage. Anyway.
Wouldn't have too long to pluck out your hairs, though.
Well, I have none. All my hairs are
Yes.
on my face. They left. They migrated from my head to my face and down my back. Anyway, probably a little too much information on that one. Shadow people.
Yeah, you should see your butt. Oh, that's a scary story of its own.
You know, for as furry as I am, my butt and legs are not nearly as hairy as you would think they would be.
To everyone who didn't know this, which is basically everyone, Benjamin went to California and got a sunburn so bad on a nude beach that he lost basically all of his body hair.
That
Well,
story
he wore a
is
shirt.
that story
wore a
is
shirt.
partially true. I'll let you guys figure out which part.
He wore a shirt. Everything below the waist was fried.
I overcooked my hot dog. Anyway, shadow people. If you're still listening, we're going to talk about shadow people now.
All I can picture is when you're on a campfire
Or
and the
not.
hot dog starts getting like the burn bubble blister
It's
things.
black and blistery. It starts to shrivel.
So heat does it too, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, God damn it. Shadow people. Shadow people come in many forms. Most commonly, they are seen as fleeting movements in the periphery of a person's vision, just something moving in the corner of the eye. An indistinct shape that gives the idea of a human form. Many people experience this, maybe even everyone experiences this, and for the most part, this experience is dismissed as a trick of the eye. Whether or not they should be so easily ignored, well, listeners, Jacob, I'm going to leave that up to y'all. Personally speaking, I don't dismiss such things so easily. I used to think that it was just, a trick of the eye, some shit like that. But then I would have people tell me that they were seeing the same things that I was seeing in the same places that I was seeing them. And that kind of made me think a little bit differently about these things. So,
Oh, they're real.
I mean,
Absolutely.
that's kind of the conclusion I came to eventually.
Okay. So I used to think they were like hallucinations, like trick of the eye, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When I started actually hallucinating all the time,
Kind of a different thing, isn't it?
very different. And like you go from hallucinating, then you get sleep, but you're still seeing them when you're well rested.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't no hallucination no more. These things is out to get you.
Well, that's what I don't know about out to get you. I mean, that is an opinion.
Well, not me personally, but everyone else, yeah.
But so when I first started thinking differently about it was actually at work. And where I worked, there's a set of stairs that went up to a storage area. And all the time while I was working, you could see them out of the corner of your eye. And I would swear to God, somebody would run up and down those stairs. And it's what? I know nobody's there. I can see the approach to the stairs, but I'd see something going up and down. And I just kind of trick the eye. It's whatever. Well, then the lady that trained me to do that job, she said something about it one day. And she would see the same shit, somebody going up and down the stairs. And literally everybody that worked in that area would say the same fucking thing. And that's kind of what started me thinking that maybe it's not, just a trick of the eye. Why are so many people having the same trick of the eye? So that's what kind of made me start to think a little bit differently about this.
I would say they're more widely seen than actual ghosts. But there's in my experience and research, there's never any sound incorporated with them.
Right.
It's always visual.
Well, and these were always silent.
Yeah.
I never heard feet on the stairs. Or, I never heard anything cross the room. But I would see them. Other people would see them. And it made me start to think maybe there's something there. Now, most people, when they talk about shadow people, they do mention the corner of the eye shadow people. What the fuck is that, Jacob?
Alarm. How did you hear that? The mic was off.
Oh, I heard it. It
Can you hear
recorded.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Are you hooked up correctly? Are we going through
Yeah.
your fucking computer mic right now?
Give me a sec.
Damn it. I'm leaving this part in.
Oh no, my embarrassment. Scrape my titty on.
Are we experiencing technical difficulty? Oh, we sure as fucking. He didn't even have his fucking mixer plugged in.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can still hear me?
Yes. Now you have to switch the audio on Zoom.
I don't even know how to do that.
Go to the microphone in the corner.
It's not how you do it, Ben.
Yes, it is. You just have to select the mic now.
That's only mute.
No, you got to click the arrow next to the microphone. Hey, he got it. All right.
Friggin' wizard.
You know, now that I'm hearing you through your mic again, I'm pretty
Sounds a
sure
lot
you've
better.
done like the last 4 or 5 episodes without it.
No, I usually have it up here with me
Oh,
with the
no,
lights.
trust me. When you listen to this episode, you are going to hear a very distinct difference between the way you were speaking before and the way you sound right now.
I don't listen to this shit.
That's fair. I only listen to it because I have to edit it. Anyway, you sound much better now.
Thank you. I've been taking voice lessons.
Yes, you need to plug in your fucking microphone lessons.
As you can tell, I did, and they paid off.
Anyway, back to shadow people. Now that we're done with this little glitch eruption.
I'm shirtless.
He is shirtless. He's not wearing a shirt. He's wearing a hat, though. I don't know. Go figure that one out.
My head's cold. My body's hot. In case anyone was wondering.
So anyway, like I said, most people talking about shadow people do mention the corner of the eye guys, but that's not the, meat and taters of the subject. So that was just for you, bud.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Anyway, what most people are talking about when they talk about shadow people are very distinct humanoid figures that appear to be made out of darkness that appear like directly in front of you. Not corner of the eye, right in front of you. Why are you making that face? This is an audio medium.
I disagree.
What do you disagree with?
I don't think I've ever seen one directly in front of me.
Well, then you've never fully encountered a shadow people.
And you've never made love by a river in northern Michigan.
How northern?
Northern.
Like, give me a city limit. You cracking a beer back there?
Oh, okay. I thought that came from my end. I thought you could hear the beer. Okay, TV turned itself off and back on, so
The ghost is listening.
that's right. At least we got someone listening.
The
to
ghost
this.
says, get the fuck on with this shit.
All right. Back to shadow people and making love by a river.
Which one first?
Probably the shadow people.
All right. So stories of shadow people or shadow people type entities go back just to antiquity. So one of the things that kind of gets mentioned amongst the shadow people is the story of the jinn of Islamic folklore, which is going to be its own episode eventually. I know you're making that face because you're not seeing the connection, but I'm going to connect it for you. The reason they get placed alongside shadow people is because jinn are described as being supernatural entities that are humanoid beings made of smoke.
But can they take a solid form?
I don't know, and we'll find that out when we do a full episode. But
Okay.
the jinn are said to be made of smoke. So smoke, shadow. It's kind of an easy little line to draw there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just a little difference
There is quite a bit. If you look at a Jinn legend, which, like I said, this is going to be an episode of its own, they do a lot more stuff than like shadow people are said to do.
But like smoke fizzles away, shadows.
A lot of people, and we'll kind of get into this, when they describe shadow people, they describe both like the blacker than black silhouette shadow people and like kind of smoky looking shadow people. So I see where the connection is made. Now, how much credence I give it, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to leave that up to y'all listening. But the Jinn come up a lot when you research shadow people.
It's a good word, credence.
Clearwater Revival. Anyway. So another like an ancient legend that gets tied into it is from the Choctaw people, who speak of a few different actual like shadow type beings. One of these is Nalusachito, also known as Impashalup. Nalusachito is the soul eater, described as a huge black being. According to Choctaw legend, if a person allows evil thoughts or depression to enter their mind, Impashalup would creep inside of them and eat their souls. Many people of the Choctaw Nation will not speak his name out of the fear of summoning the spirit.
You can't be depressed?
Apparently not.
Oh, hey, high five. My dad died. Yeah.
Impashalup is going to eat you. Now, if I wind up no longer existing after this episode, then you will know why, because my great-grandma was half Choctaw. I am not technically a member of the Choctaw Nation, but by blood. And I just said his name. So...
MP Chalupa. MP Chalupa.
That's disrespectful, but funny. Anyway.
My soul should have been eaten already. I've been depressed for years.
I mean, right? If you're not a little depressed in this modern world, you're probably just not paying attention.
Or not an adult.
Anyway, another shadow being of Choctaw folklore is Nalusa Falaya, or long black being. This entity...
Oh, come on now.
This entity resembles a man, but with very small eyes and long pointed ears. So he's a squinty elf.
It's really bright where he's at.
He was often known to scare away hunters and was said to be able to transfer his powers of doing harm to whomever he desired. So he could give his powers to other people and they would go about causing harm in his stead.
Yeah. Did I hurt you?
No.
Oh, I'm not a long black being.
We know. Anyway.
I wasn't on the beach with you. How would you know?
Anyway. The Choctaw also said that every man had a shalombish, or outside shadow, that followed them around throughout their life. And after death, a person's shalombish would remain on earth, roaming around the person's former home. It would do so in order to frighten the living away, so as to maintain its place of residence.
Shalomish sounds kind of
Shalombish, it does. I'm probably saying it wrong. Shalombish, maybe. I don't know. Either way, it sounds kind of Jewish. I don't know.
Shalom-ish.
I'm probably saying it wrong. My great-grandma was half Choctaw. That doesn't mean I speak the language. Or know a lot about their culture, which is my mistake, really. But anyway. Now,
Hey.
Modern tellings of shadow people come in a wide variety of different forms, but of note, there are a few reported over and over by different people in different places and from different cultures. Lots of people see them as simple silhouettes, usually of a male figure. Because, I know, damn feminists, always blaming men for everything. Another commonly seen figure of shadow people is the monk. So, yeah, thank Fred. Think about Fred.
Holy black monk of Pontefract.
I know, right? Right?
Mother F was a shadow geist.
He's a shadow geist. He's a people geist. Anyway.
He's
And
a
then-
Shalomish geist.
Kind of lumped in with that are just like hooded shadow people, not so much monk like, but just like shadow people wearing hoods or hood and cloaked shadow people. Can you imagine how stylish a shadow person in a cloak would be? I think we should bring back cloaks. That's what I'm getting at here. Very stylish.
You know I'm game.
Now, the last different variant I'm going to mention is the Hat Man.
No, I've heard of this
Yeah, I think a lot of people have. He's a very popular guy.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, the Hat Man is a very on-the-nose name for this particular entity. He is often seen during instances of sleep paralysis and is described much in the way his name would suggest.
He's balding.
Possibly. Those who have encountered the Hat Man describe a tall male figure wearing a flat-brimmed hat. So think about the Undertaker standing in your doorway, okay, with the light behind him. The old school Undertaker.
I know.
I'm
I know
telling
exactly
everybody
who
else.
you're talking about.
If you don't know who the Undertaker is, I don't know why you're listening to this.
Yeah, go away.
I mean, like, even people who don't like wrestling should know who the fucking Undertaker is. He was only like a pop culture thing for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, when they describe him as being made of shadow or just a silhouette that is blacker than black. So, like, if you see him at night, you can still see him because he's darker than the darkness.
So he's like abyssal.
Yes. Like a black hole in the shape of a person. Which is fucking creepy.
Well, if it's the Undertaker, you're looking at a 7 foot tall freaking black hole the shape
He's
of
like
a person.
6'7".
No, he's not.
They bill
I
him as
think
6'10", but
I'm pretty sure he's like 6'11".
I don't think they bill him as 6'10".
This looks like a job for
Google. Great googly moogly. Okay, you Google that. I'm going to keep talking.
I am.
Mostly, the Shadow Man is seen standing somewhere across your room, in a doorway, or at the closest at the foot of the bed.
6'10".
That's what he's billed at according to WWE, which means it's like a football. You ever seen like football player stats where they're like,
They don't wear high heels.
they're like, he's 6'3" and weighs 280, and really the guy's like 6 foot tall and weighs something like 250.
So what are you saying? I'm 6'1".
I'm saying the WWE tells people that their guys are bigger than they are. Okay? They just do. Where was I?
So Andre the Giant was Andre the medium-sized guy.
No, not medium size. He was still a big fucking dude, but he wasn't the 7'5" or whatever they said he was. He topped out at like 7 foot.
He topped out at like drinking a keg in a sitting.
I know 5'4" Irish guys that can do that.
He wasn't Irish.
No, he was fucking French.
French. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so most witnesses say that that is pretty much the extent of what the Hat Man does. He just kind of stands there and stares at you. And he does so until the person breaks free of their sleep paralysis. And then he just kind of disappears. But even still, they describe feeling a sense of absolute terror despite the fact that the Hat Man isn't doing anything expressly threatening. Now, I mean, watching someone sleep is certainly creepy. Unless, of course, you are a sparkly vampire in a cheesy teen romance novel, then I guess it's romantic. But
I knew you were going to bring Aragorn into this.
Aragorn, fuck you. You keep that name out of your mouth, you clown whore. Anyway, we do not besmirch the Lord of the Rings here. I will shut this podcast down right now.
Bring it on, Ben.
I will shut this. You do not disparage Lord of the Rings, sir. Okay, that's settled in. Was that Harry Potter? Oh,
Mad Mardigan.
Mad Marty. Oh,
That's Harry Potter.
Fucking no, it's not. That's Willow,
Well,
you sick bastard.
It's a little bit like Harry Potter.
Jacob tried to make a midget joke, and I don't think Jacob wants us to make midget jokes on this show. Anyway, modern day interest and belief in shadow people was helped along by the godfather of paranormal media, Mr. Art Bell on Coast to Coast AM. Yes, indeed.
I love that man.
The first time he discussed the topic at length was April 12, 2001. That night, Art interviewed a man purported to be a Native American elder named Thunderstrikes or Harley Swift Deer Reagan. Yes, Jacob.
No, just hell of a name.
During that particular show, listeners were invited to share drawings of shadow people that they had encountered. Art received a fuck ton of drawings and shared them to his website. I'm going to try and dig some of those up, see if I can share them in our Facebook group. I'm sure if they're out there, you know, if they were ever on the internet, they're still there.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere. I don't know if I can find them, but they're there. In October of that same year, 2001, Heidi Hollis published her first book on the topic of shadow people and became a regular guest on Coast to Coast. Hollis described shadow people as dark silhouettes, which we've already covered, with human shapes, which we have already also covered, who, as we've also already covered, flicker in and out of the periphery of people's vision. Now, here's something we have not really covered yet. She claims that people have reported these figures jumping on their chests and trying to choke them. And I see the face you're making, but you're not considering the legends of the night hag. Are you familiar?
I believe so. But I thought that was the one that would get all close to you. Like the Hat Man would stand at a little bit of a distance.
Right,
I
like
thought
the end of your bed at the closest, right?
Yeah,
the night hag
Haggans would get like all up close and personal.
The night hag was a dark spiritual entity, according to the legends, that, again, described largely as a shadow, just very dark entity. But this time of like a older woman sometimes, but sometimes not, sometimes just like a goblin creature or whatever, that would come up and sit on people's chests and try like to make them not breathe.
I'm pretty sure there's a porno after that, except not on chest. She said on faces.
Most likely. I can see that being a thing. So that's when she said that, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, wow, that sounds a lot like the night hag. You know, jumping on people, trying to choke them, whatever. Now, Hollis believes that these shadow people are, check this out, negative aliens. Yeah. That can be repelled by various means, such as invoking the name of Jesus Christ.
What in the flying dick is a negative alien?
It's a not positive alien, I guess.
It sounds like a demon.
I mean, maybe that's what she was going for. They can be, according to her, gotten rid of if you invoke the name of Christ. So I guess give that a shot if you got a shadow people trying to throw a rear naked choke on you. Whatever. Let me know how that works. So what do you think, Jacob? Are they negative aliens? I feel like she meant outer space aliens. Honestly, I don't know. I didn't get into this deep enough to read any of her work. So maybe she's got a real convincing theory for why she thinks that, but I don't really know. You guys can make up your own mind. What do you think, Jake?
I think that's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard.
We've heard some pretty stupid things.
Yeah, like positive alien.
Right.
Negative alien.
Mm-hmm.
It's like not alien.
That's like battery terminals. I mean, I would hope the positive aliens aren't the ones sticking stuff in your pooper. That would throw. I mean, unless you're into that kind of thing, I guess.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Yeah. Wait, what do you think of it?
Like I said, I don't know what her justification for that theory is. So I'm going to say this with a grain of salt, and I'm going to say I think it's a load of shit. Like,
That's being nice about it.
I mean, like, I don't know. But again, I don't know her justification. She might convince me if I read one of her books. She's actually got quite a few on shadow people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did give her a Google real quick just to see, and she's got a few.
And I bet a negative amount of them are bestsellers.
I don't think there are bestsellers in our particular category outside of maybe Communion.
Sure, there are.
No, there's not.
Travis Walton's book has to be.
I don't think it is. I don't think it ever got on the fucking New York Times bestseller list, my friend. We'll have to look that up, though. Now that you mentioned it, I'm kind of curious. I know Communion did fairly well, but Whitley Strieber was already an established author by that time.
Whitley.
Hell of a name.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
by the
well,
way, I know this is a complete sidetrack,
Oh,
but
we don't do that on this show.
on Peacock TV, which is a free app. Okay. Free app, Peacock TV. The movie Communion is on there.
Is it great?
I'm going to let you watch it and figure that out for yourself if you have never seen it.
All right.
It's got Christopher Walken in it, starring as Whitley Strieber.
I love Christopher Walken.
Everybody loves Christopher Walken.
Even Christopher Walken.
Mostly Christopher Walken.
Even Christopher Sitton.
So we discussed Heidi Hollis's take, and you can take it or leave it or think what you want about it. That's up
I'm
to you.
leaving it.
But hers is obviously not the only take on the subject. So what I found was that the official Shadow People Archives has a lot more open-minded opinion on the subject of shadow people. So I'm just going to read pretty much the whole front page of their website here. So, from the official Shadow People Archives. What are shadow people? At first, they appear only out of the corner of your eye, furtively darting out of view when you turn to look straight at them, but are now gone. Did you really see them? Shaking the image out of your head, you assume that it was some peculiar anomaly of your eyesight. However, the feeling still lingers that someone continues to watch you. For weeks, months, or years, the fast, dark movements in your peripheral vision are dismissed until it finally happens without warning. You see the shadow directly in front of you, face to face, blacker than black, darker than dark, like a void that has punched a hole into the inky fabric of night itself. Sometimes it appears as the mere silhouette of a person, usually male, but generally lacking any other characteristics of gender. However, in no way does the description end there. There are hatted shadow beings, hooded shadows, cloaked ones, and solid or wispy, smoky types. Some are seen only from the waist up. Others clearly have legs that are seen fleeing from their observers. They dart into corners, through walls, into closets, or behind television sets, bushes, and buildings. Sometimes they simply fade into the dark recesses of the night. Lacking in the description is one common denominator unifying the many different types of shadow people that enter our world, except that they are intensely dark. Even then, there are exceptions. What is the purpose? Well, one thing is for certain. The personalities and intentions of shadow people are just as varied as any one of the 6 billion people populating this planet. While a number of witnesses believe that shadow people act as a benevolent guardians watching and guiding us, just as many witnesses have no doubt of the evil, soul-wrenching potential of these beings. Originally, I believed the shadow people to be ghosts. But the stories received, read, compiled, and uploaded are more convincing that shadows are a type of interdimensional beings, from which ghost is only one subcategory. One can only hope that serious research into this paranormal, or psychological, genre will paint a clearer understanding of the nature and makeup of these dark, mysterious people. That day has not yet come. Until then, This site brings together hundreds of witnesses who took the time and energy to detail their experiences in order to help us develop some kind of consensus about the very strange nature of shadow people. You are encouraged to sift and read through them to come to your own conclusions. Susan Lawrence Fowler, September 13th, 2017.
I can follow that one a hell of a lot better than Negative Aliens.
Yeah, facts. That's
And like, she definitely said something that I've never really thought.
what's that?
Like, in no account have I ever heard anyone getting harmed by a shadow person.
Neither
And
have
like, it's just like Hollywood and like religious standpoints that make you think like, holy shit.
Yeah, some people think they're good things, actually.
Yeah, and like, we're made to think like dark and that kind of stuff is evil, but literally, what if they're watching over you?
Right? What if that's just how a guardian spirit appears?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Shit.
Right? Right?
I never thought of that. That's
Yeah. Kind of mind blowing, isn't it? I don't have that noise.
probably a good thing.
Now, unlike the Rougarou, there are a ton of witness accounts of encounters with shadow people. Rougarou. The official Shadow People archive is chock full of stories. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the website and I'm going to go to their stories list. And then, Jacob, I'm just going to randomly read titles and you pick one that sounds interesting.
Yay.
Okay?
Yes.
So here we go. I am opening the
She
website.
coughed.
I am opening the website. We're going to go to the stories here. I'm going to make this bigger. All right, here we go. The first one on the page, just so you know, is Shadow Cat. Then
Shadow Cat?
Yes. Yeah, shadow animals are a thing too, and I hear a lot about it being cat. So you got, let's see, Shadow Cat, Cloaked Figure, Vulgar Entity, Haunted Cottage, Mr. Grimm, Jacuzzi Shadow Man, 10 Years with a Shadow, Shake Hands with a Ghost, Reflections in Rearview Mirror. Stop me whenever you hear one you want to listen to.
Oh, you already know which one I want.
Which one do you want?
Jacuzzi.
All right, let's go. Jacuzzi Shadow Man. So this account is from Maria, and it was uploaded to the official Shadow People archives on June 9th, 2009. The subject is Jacuzzi Shadow Man. So I'm reading this absolutely blind. I have no idea what this says, so let's go. I will call myself Maria. I am 36 years old. I am a college-educated, young, successful businesswoman that runs a well-known comedy club in Hollywood, California. I am a devout Roman Catholic. Today, I returned with my friend, we will call her Lisa, from a last-minute weekend girls' getaway at a 5-star resort in Palm Springs. Now, I'm just going to pause this right here for a second. Humble brag much? Jesus. Anyway, back to Maria's story. We decided on Friday to pack our bags and enjoy some sun and relaxation. Last night, after a wonderful dinner and some girl talk, we decided to chill out and hit the resort's jacuzzi area. We had not been drinking. We were thrilled to see that on a warm Saturday evening at such a luxurious property, we were the only ones in the jacuzzi area. We were thoroughly relaxed, enjoying the water and our last night of our girls' getaway. Lisa was in the jacuzzi telling me some hilarious stories of her childhood. I had just gotten out of the water and settled into a nearby lounge chair. I was listening to Lisa tell her story, and I looked up at the empty pool area adjacent to the hot tub. The night was clear. The pool was lit a beautiful deep blue. All of a sudden, I saw a dark black figure of a man, whose outline looked as if he was wearing a full suit, quickly jump behind a closed patio umbrella as if he were hiding from me. I did not see any facial features, but he appeared to have some mass to him. His movement was very fluid and swift. I thought he was hiding once I caught him looking at us. I was immediately startled, thinking that some rude, drunk man had wandered out of the resort bar and decided to take a look at us in our bathing suits. Pause again. Stop blaming men for everything, for Christ's sake. We're not all perverts, for God's sake. Anyway, this is what you get when I read blind. Like, God damn it.
Also said he has some mass behind him. Call him a fat
Yeah,
perv.
she just call him fat. God. Anyway, I immediately jumped up and investigated, only to find no one hiding behind the umbrella. In fact, there was nothing there at all. I was very nervous, but didn't want to tell Lisa because she frightens pretty easily, and the entire motive for our weekend was to help her relax from her hectic life, and mine as well. My mind was spinning, heart pounding, and I didn't know what the hell to do. I thought if I had told her, she would have certainly thought I was crazy. I kept quiet for a few minutes. Then we noticed bats starting to swarm around the hot tub area. There had been a couple flying around when we first arrived at the hot tub, and we were initially curious, as we had never seen live bats before. However, they were becoming increasingly more aggressive and multiplying in numbers. Lisa noticed as well, and we decided to get back to our rooms very quickly. The feeling of the atmosphere had changed significantly from peaceful tranquility to uneasiness. As we started down the steps, right beside the umbrella I had seen the figure a few minutes prior, Lisa jumped back as if she were about to run into somebody. She turned to me and said, "I just saw a black outline of a large man wearing a hat right next to me. I could feel him, but there's nothing here." It was at that point I told her we needed to get inside. We rushed through the abandoned pool area, and it was then that I informed her that I had seen the very same frightening character jump behind an umbrella. We were so spooked, we locked ourselves in our rooms and checked out early in the morning. So much for a gentle end to such a great weekend. Maria. Yes.
I don't like her. I'm very successful.
I'm very successful, and we went to this 5-star hotel.
And there was a peeping shadow Tom because I'm a successful businesswoman and I was in a bathing suit, per se.
All right, so maybe
inside.
maybe we randomly picked not a great story from a great
What about
person.
the cabin getaway one?
Oh, let me see if I can find that again.
I'm very successful. I own a bikini. I have a friend. What do you have in life?
Oh, of course, I can't find that one now.
I have a Karen haircut. Yes. Front lobby. I'd like to speak to security and your manager.
Oh,
Ooh.
fuck your
Ooh.
haunted cabin one.
Whoa.
This one, wait. You're going to thank me for this. This one is called Shadows and Vampires with Black Eyes.
With black guys?
Black Eyes.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh, this is a long one.
Ooh.
All right.
Good.
All right, we ready for this? This is from
No rape with us.
This is from Stuart. Okay. And it was
I already
uploaded
love it.
July 11th, 2010. Okay, here we go. Hi. Hello, Stuart.
Hey.
I'm happy to give permission for you guys to publish anything I write here. I don't want my personal details known publicly due to spam. Spam's good. What do you got against spam, bro?
Oh, I love spam. With some cheese on it.
Fried up. I gather I see the same thing as other people here, so I don't know if this is something you might not want to publish. I have had different experiences. When I was... Stuart can't write. Anyway.
It's okay. His name's Stuart.
Stewie. When I was around 4 to 5 years of age, I would get up in the early hours of the morning. Near a wall in the house, I could feel an energy that I was attracted to. I think, going by memory, I could also hear a voice. When standing or waiting, a red-orange color shadow would appear. It would explain things. This is something I can't remember in detail. I can only remember bits like references to the world, why it's here talking to me, other references to matters/issues I will face, and why it's leaving me soon. All this was over a period of a couple of weeks. On its last morning, it said, before I die, it will visit me. So I guess I don't have anything to worry about till I get a visit. I got the impression it was male, sounded male, and also had authority. Stuart is the opposite of Maria. Stuart thinks women can't have authority. This guy's a misogynist anyway.
Gotta find a middle ground here.
Yeah, no shit. Why are these people trash? When I was around 10 years old, I started to see shadows. Shadows of what I thought at the time were ghosts. To this day, I still see them. They only come now and then. I'll see them around 6 months and then nothing. Then I get a wave of shadow people. 80% of the time, there will be 2x of them. 2 times 2 of them, maybe is what he's trying to say. Sometimes
Twice as many.
twice as many of them. I don't, that's not, it just says 2x of them. Okay.
Start.
Sometimes there will be a short one and a taller one, so he did mean 2 of them. Other
Okay.
times, they will be around the same height. The shadow people I see isn't an outline of a person. You don't see the head, arms, ears, etc. It's like a 3D shadow of an old priest with cloak and hood. God damn it, Fred. Get back to Pontefract. There are no...
Stay in your own story.
Stay in your own story. There are no feet. In fact, they have around a 20-centimeter gap under them. This guy must be from Canada. They seem to hover. I notice them in the corner of my eyes. Then when you turn knowing someone is there, they were gone. Later in my teens to early 20s, many times I did turn to look. They stayed and just watched. If I watch them and then try to walk towards them, they vanish. They seem to linger around doorways and walls. I can normally know when they are due as you pick an energy from them. Okay. I'm reading word for word, guys. I can't make sense of it. It's a bit like, when someone is staring at you. You just know. It's intuition. I don't think they're evil. I'm not sure what they are, but I am guessing that they try and communicate with me, but for some reason vanish when being spoken to or approached. If anyone has questions on the subject, I'm happy to talk further on it. As an extra matter that's a bit further than shadow people, I thought I seen a vampire in 1998. I later found out it wasn't. I think it's a demon or evil spirit of some sort. Let me explain. So, all right, here we go, Stuart. Stuart's getting wild here.
Please do, Stuart.
Let's go, Stuart. Between 1996 and 1999, I worked as a barman at a local nightclub. Around 2 a.m., I came up the back stairs of the club and headed through the back end of the club heading towards the main bar. The place was packed, music was loud, and techno and dance floor lights worked overtime. You get the picture. As I started to walk past the rear end of the dance floor, I suddenly stopped. I felt a sudden chill and energy on my right side, a bit like camping and feeling the heat from the fire on one side of your body. As I turned towards the energy, all I saw was many people dancing. I kept looking toward the direction of the energy. The crowd moved apart a bit for me to see people dancing on the mall stage at the front of the club. Male stage? Okay, anyway. I started walking through the dancers toward the main stage. It says male. M-A-I-L. Male stage in front of the club. So they're delivering letters on the stage. Anyway, main stage at the front of the club. I started walking through the dancers towards the main stage. As I got closer, I could see more and more of the people on the stage floor dancing. The chill feeling got stronger, just like a smell. The dancers were mostly between the ages of 18 to 21. I felt scared, but at the same time, something in me felt I needed to hold my ground. Whatever it was, shouldn't have been there. I stood in the crowd of dancers with my eyes focused on a single girl with shoulder-length dark hair. She was petite and wore normal-looking clothes. She danced away with her hair moving all over the place. She stopped still, dead still. Not a moment. not a movement. Her hair covered her face, so at this stage I didn't see what she looked like. But I knew now I found my source. I again started to walk towards her, but also thinking at the same time, what am I going to do even if I grab her? Anyway, my inner feeling made me move forward. After a few feet of walking toward her, she still didn't move. People around her were still dancing away. She suddenly looked straight up at me. Her hair was now away from her face. She seemed to have a normal-looking face, but her eyes were totally black. No color in them at all. She stared at me. I was grabbed on the arm at this point by a coworker and said what they needed to tell me. When I looked back, she was gone. Then to my right, I saw people being pushed out of the way and she was headed for the back stairs. I made chase. I ran through the crowd and made it to the top of the wooden stairs. She was already down the bottom. I ran down to follow her, but when I got to the bottom part of the club where people dined and drank, I heard the beer garden door close to my left. I ran into the outside beer garden. The beer garden at night is banned. It's off limits. Only the staff go out to take rubbish or to get ice. I did not find her. I looked everywhere. Nothing. So I thought at this stage it was a vampire. Whoa. Okay, he says, I don't know why. I don't even believe in them. I guess the eyes being black and being able to move so quick. I guessed it was a vampire, probably based on movies I'd seen. God damn, Stuart. That was 1998. Fast forward to 2010. I'm at a friend's house. I said I'll walk to the supermarket, which is a couple blocks away. It's winter here at the time, so I put my coat on and go out the door to go to the supermarket. It's around 9:30 p.m. I get a few back streets away, and as I turn a corner, I suddenly felt the exact same feeling I did back at the nightclub many years before. I stopped and looked around the streets, and nothing. Not a person out, just parked cars. I then kept walking down the street. I then saw a figure of a person down the street moving by the fence line, so I kept walking towards it. As I walked to the person, male, mid-20s, he just stopped. The energy was high. I felt chills, but also instinct was saying, be careful on this one. Its presence was not welcomed. As I walked past him, his head followed me. I noticed right away, he too had black eyes. No white parts or anything, just totally black. As I just got past him, he said, do you have the time? His voice was like any other guy's voice. I turned to face him, and as I said in response, no, I don't, his face changed a little. Like all the muscles in his face moved around at once, something I had not seen before. Instinct kicked in. I had no control over my inner self. I grabbed him around the neck and threw him onto the footpath and placed my foot on his chest. His eyes did not change, still black. As I put pressure on his chest and leant over looking into his eyes, he spoke to me. His voice was different now, deep and growly. He said, I know Jesus, I know Paul, but who are you? I didn't answer, maybe because I didn't know. So I asked him, what's your name? He replied, I am Legion, for we are many.
That's a movie.
God damn it. I can't believe I read this whole thing just to get the absolute bullshit at the last fucking paragraph. Anyway, I'm going to finish this because we got this far.
Oh my goodness.
I lifted my foot off him and he ran away around the
shit.
corner to wherever I had just come from. I have never been to church. I don't belong to one. You don't have to go to church to know those fucking names, my guy. I have not read the Bible and know little about it really. However, to say something about Jesus and Paul, I gather it was a demon or your fucking bullshit ass made up story that you want to sound like you're one of the disciples reborn or some shit, you fucking lying piece of shit, Stuart.
What movie is that from?
I'm pretty sure that's The Exorcist, my friend.
Stuart.
All right. Fuck. Okay, so not all the stories on here are bullshit. I did read a couple of them, like earlier, that are way more believable than fucking Stuart's story, but
you read forever.
I know.
Through all those mistakes.
I know.
Just to get to
We are Legion.
We are
and
one.
He's apparently a fucking reborn disciple of Jesus. Fuck that story. And look, I am not blaming the Shadow People archive. They just print the shit they're sent, okay?
Proofread that shit.
Some of which I feel like is probably true. That one I feel like is absolute bullshit.
I would feel terrible if that was true.
Uh,
But nobody would act that brave.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, this mofo's been chasing me, and he changes his face and stuff.
Like his
I'm gonna
eyes are
step on
black and his
chest.
face changes, so I'm going to throw him on the ground. Yeah, okay. Good luck, Stuart. You fucking neckbeard. Anyway. Okay, I'm done with Shadow
He's
People
a
Archive
neckbeard.
right now. No more Shadow People Archive for me tonight. That one just really, really irritated me. All right, Jacob, what do you think so far, buddy?
Okay. I'm trying to decide who I hate more. How about you?
Well, I think Stuart's story was bullshit. I kind of believe Maria's story. At least that one is realistic.
Yeah, it's a. I bet she calls them shadow men.
Oh, boy. Anyway.
Shadow men and shadow vampires. Shadow Legion.
Shadow Legions.
Oh no, Shadow Legion, for they are one.
For they are one. Anyway. Now, there is one more unique thing about the Shadow People phenomenon. And that is the fact that science has actually looked into this one. Like, full on looked into this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is really weird for any of the other subjects that, like, come into the realm of paranormal. Mostly science just ignores that shit, but not this time.
It's because everyone's seen it.
Science believes they can explain it. I'm going to go through briefly what they say is happening. So, several physiological and psychological conditions can account for reported experiences of shadow shapes seeming alive. A sleep paralysis sufferer may perceive a shadowy or indistinct shape approaching them when they lie awake paralyzed and become increasingly alarmed. So what they're saying is, like, during a sleep paralysis episode, you have what is known as a hypnagogic incident. That's a big fucking word, I know. What that pretty much means is, so sleep paralysis works like this, for those who don't know. Your body, when you sleep, naturally produces a chemical that paralyzes you. And it does this because when you dream, you don't want to move around, you might hurt yourself.
Yeah, you don't want to act out the dream.
Right, so your body paralyzes itself. What happens during a sleep paralysis episode is you wake up, but you don't. That paralytic that your body has on you is still in effect. So, like, usually it's just your eyes that can move, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what science thinks is that it's during those episodes, you're still pretty much dreaming when you see a shadow person. That's the scientific explanation for that. So they go on to say a person experiencing heightened emotion, such as while walking alone on a dark night, may incorrectly perceive a patch of shadow as an attacker. And I'm kind of with that. Like, I know that your eyes can play tricks on you. I am not at all denying that.
And paranoia can be a hell of a thing.
Right. And we are all susceptible to it to some degree or another.
Except for me.
Well, then why are you wearing a tinfoil hat?
So the aliens don't read my mind?
Oh,
that's not paranoia,
right.
That's facts.
Prudence, not paranoia. Anyway. Now, here's another one that I have not experienced myself, but I know people who have. Methamphetamine addicts report the appearance of shadow people. And that is from long periods of sleep deprivation. You also see it, you used to see it a lot with, like, truck drivers. They would see, like, the black dog, the shadow dog,
Yep.
make them swerve and shit. Psychiatrist Jack Potts suggests that methamphetamine usage adds a conspiratorial component to the sleep deprivation hallucinations. One interviewed subject said that you don't see shadow dogs or shadow birds or shadow cars, you see shadow people standing in doorways, walking behind you, coming at you on the sidewalk, etc. Now, I know people who have had methamphetamine-induced hallucinations. It is a thing. Shadow people are commonly reported by people under the effects of deliriant substances such as datura, diphenhydramine, and benzidamine. Yeah, I'm not saying any of those right, but
No, no, you're not.
I am not the nurse. My girlfriend is.
Are you sure it's not a benzodiazepine?
There's no O in this word. Benzidamine.
See, benzodiazepine is the one that really messes up your head.
Mm.
That's the kind of my prescription I can't take at work.
Yeah, I have no idea what these are. I could have asked, but the nurse is sleeping. Finally, visual hallucinations, I just had a stroke, such as those caused by schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, may appear to be shadowy figures at the edge of peripheral vision. So there's a scientific explanation for shadow people. Would you like to offer your thoughts on that, or would you like me to start?
Well, I mean, you start. I got a lot to say.
So what I'm going to say about that is that, yes, all of those things probably do cause some sort of hallucinatory effect that causes you to see, shadowy things that are not there, right? I can accept that. What gets me, though, is that why so many people who are not sleep deprived, they're not schizophrenic, they're not bipolar, they have never suffered a sleep paralysis incident in their life, they still describe seeing such similar things that behave in such similar manners. That always throws me off with this topic and makes me doubt the science behind it completely. Like, I can't completely believe that those are the causes for this. I believe they can cause something similar, but I don't think that's the only explanation. Your turn.
Okay. So first off, I was diagnosed with manic bipolarism. But like for men, they say that usually hits around your mid to late 20s, which is when it hit hard for me. I've always had troubles with sleep, but like I've always, well, most of my life I've gotten enough sleep to where hallucinations weren't a thing. I've seen them my whole life. I know plenty of mentally healthy people who have seen, like you said, like that stuff can cause it. Like I've been around drug addicts, I've been around people on hallucinogenics. But hallucinogenics have a much more wild hallucination than just something out of the corner of your eye. It affects sound, it affects.
First off, quit talking with your hands. Keep your microphone by your mouth.
Second off.
Second, the other part that you're kind of getting to, and that I'm going to add, is that when you take hallucinogens, in the moment that feels very real, but when you're done, you know what has happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with the shadow people phenomenon, with those hallucinations, there's no such knowing it wasn't real when it's over.
Right.
And most people that have these were not on hallucinogens. They were not sleep deprived. Nothing. None of it. So that's where I cast doubt on the scientific explanation.
Yeah, I mean, like, sleep paralysis, absolutely. Like, you're going to see something that scares you.
Right, potentially.
Yeah. Like, the couple of times that I've had sleep paralysis, it was terrifying. I try to scream. I try to, like, throw punches. Nothing. All you can do is look and try to make noise.
Right. That in and of itself is a terrifying ordeal. Like, if you've never experienced it, imagine opening your eyes in the middle of the night and you cannot move at all. You can move your eyes, and that is it. You can't scream, you can't twitch, you can't sit up, you can't do anything. That's terrifying.
It is. It's awful. Like, I've seen some spooky shit being awake and, like, going on my little ghost hunts and stuff. But I have to say, sleep paralysis, it can strike a whole new fear into you.
Yeah, I've never experienced it, but I can imagine.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like,
so like, all right, I'll tell you my most recent one. It was wild. I was back at my house in northern Michigan, in real life, sleeping in my bed, and the room is tiny, but like, you just sleep in there. So my bed is set up pretty close to the wall because
there's nowhere
I
else to
don't.
put it.
Well, I don't like to have. I like to have my back against something when I sleep.
Mm.
This particular night, I slept on my back, like to mattress, and when I woke up, my head was facing the wall, but the wall wasn't there. It looked like the side of a balcony type thing on a castle.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard something crawling up, and then I see like the two really elongated arms going over the side. And well, at that point, I'm trying to move, trying to make some noise, get away, Nothing. I just remember my eyes getting sore from looking at it because I had to look out of the corner of my eye so far over.
Mm-hmm.
And then it finally, like, I see the whole thing, and it's pretty messed up looking. It's got really long arms, really long legs. It's like slimy, like
Mm-hmm.
no nose, no eyes, just a great big mouth, and like a lot of slobber, a lot of drool. And it crawls right up on my bed, and I swear I felt my bed like get pushed down.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, like once a little bit of noise came out of my face, it just
Right. You
everything
came
went
out of
back
your
to
sleep
normal.
paralysis.
Yeah, like once I was able to like flick a finger and make a little noise out of my throat, it was, oh, bet you my heart rate was like 180 until 2 p.m.
And that's fucking terrifying.
It was awful.
But
But
like it was just part of it. Right?
yeah.
Like, is that how you
Oh,
feel
yeah.
about it?
Yeah, exactly. Like once I was up, I'm like, oh shit, sleep paralysis.
See, and I feel
It's
like
not-
that's how most people who have, occurrences of sleep paralysis feel about it.
Yeah.
Like you said, dude, it's fucking terrifying. There's no denying that shit is terrifying.
Yeah, it's a whole new fear. Like, at least when you're awake and shit happens, you can run, you can fight back.
Right.
There is no fighting, there is no yelling for help, there is nothing. Like, it is just whatever it wants. And, like, you feel that. It's going to do whatever it wants. And then, poof, it's gone.
And
Instantly.
it's like a bad dream, right?
Yeah, it just fades right away. And, like, yeah, dream just like, it's like waking abruptly up from a dream.
Mm. So, yeah, terrifying. But
Yeah.
once it's gone, you're like, oh, okay, we're good.
That's what that was. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people who have shadow people instances, they feel much differently about it than that.
Well, yeah. Like, my thing is like, okay, that's what that was. Shadow people, you see it out of the corner of your eye, and you're like, what the fuck was that?
Mm-hmm.
Not like, oh, that's what that was. My mind playing a trick on me. No.
Right.
Because you saw it.
So I think we're both on the same page here. Yes, the
sir.
scientific explanation does explain quite a bit of it,
A decent amount.
but not all of it.
Yeah. Like, I believe there's something paranormal to it.
I do as well. What that is, I don't pretend to know. But
Yep.
it's something.
Spooky, though.
It's fucking terrifying. All right, Jacob, anything else to add to our show for the night?
Yes, I got a little gift.
Oh, okay.
So, about 2 months back, I started writing this, an intro to what I thought would be a clever episode but I never got around to it because I thought of a lot more funny ones and good ones. So I'm going to read this. I was going on 3 days of no sleep when I wrote this, and I sat down when I was writing. So this is how hard I have to focus when I'm tired to write. It's on animal possession. This is just part of my intro. Have you ever noticed your beloved pet was just a bit too grump, especially cats? Cats are assholes. But that doesn't go away or take the hint that they're not wanted. I'm solely mentioning cats right now, but I was want to less melons.
What?
I fell asleep at that last part.
Okay. All right. Okay, less melon.
I was want to less melons.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. When I like actually came to, I'm like, what the fuck did I just write?
Sleep writing. And
It's a
that's
thing.
Jake's gift to all of us on his birthday.
You're welcome, everyone.
And on that note, I will add, as always, thank you so much for listening. If you do enjoy our show, do not forget to leave us that 5-star rating and review if you can. And if you can't, or if you can, tell a friend. Tell a friend about the show. Bring them in to listen. Tell them how stupid we are. Whatever. Get them to listen. With that, I will say again, thank you and good night.
Also, for my birthday, join the Patreon. It's $5. You can spare $5. Love you guys so much. Good night.